Google, announcing you're in business, and customers were knocking down the door. Customers that want what you offer and are willing to pay for it. Yeah, unfortunately, business doesn't happen without you putting in an effort. The effort to convey to your ideal prospects, not everybody, your knowledge, your value, that you are what they need right now. In other words, putting forth a marketing effort. Now, there's hundreds, probably thousands of marketing strategies out there, and many of them are the long game. Takes you a while to actually get clients from it. Today on Make It Click, I'm happy to have as my guest Jean Kuhn. We're going to be talking about a short approach, and that is speaking. Jean, welcome to Make It Click today.
Oh, Christine, thank you for having me here. You're always so awesome to me. Thank you.
We always have wonderful conversations. Now, I said we're going to be talking about speaking, but before we get into that, Jean, could you just share with the audience a few marketing strategies that our audience might be using right now that tend to be listed under the long game as seeing results from it? What might a couple of those be?
I think networking, if they're doing it the way people talk about networking, where you go out, you form that relationship, that could be a really long-term game, right? So I like to think about networking as I want it to be a fast turnaround game. So if you're just networking the regular way, yeah, it's going to be a long strategy before you build those know, like, and trust relationships. So you have to figure out how to do it really quickly. And Christine, I'm going to take that right back. The reason that takes such a long game is the way to shorten that cycle with networking is to be out there speaking. You
Mm.
can shorten that time it takes to go from meeting somebody to a sale really, really fast when you're out there speaking.
Yeah, because when we're networking, we're really talking to one person here and one person there. And yes, we all want good relationships with everybody, but it's a long process. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard the same thing that I keep hearing is like, well, that networking event didn't work. It's like, well, first of all, people don't have the right plan in mind before they
Right.
even go into a networking event. They just think they're just going to, as I say, hang out the shingle and
Well,
people are just going to flock to them. Um,
exactly. And they want to go to a networking event and they want to walk away with a client right away, right?
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can do that when you're the speaker at the
Hmm.
networking event.
Hmm.
But when you just go as all of the regular participants, you're one of them, and it doesn't you're not elevated. The way you elevate yourself is you position yourself as that expert or the celebrity, if you will, if you're of your business
Hmm.
when you speak.
Right. Now, okay, so we're talking about speaking at a networking event. Let's pull this back further in speaking the big picture. Because I don't want the audience to think, well, all I can do is speak at a networking event. No, we're talking about something much larger.
Right.
Can you
Well,
explain?
yes, thank you. Speaking in order to create that sort of expert status that you're looking for when you go out to speak really revolves around, well, you can do it in a networking event, but it's a lot easier when you're in front of all of your ideal clients and you're speaking about something, meaning the problem that they have. You know what the problem those people in the audience have, but here's the funny part, you have the solution, right? So when you position yourself that way as the person who has the solution to the problem the audience has, they want more. And what that more is usually to work with you. And that's really the problem I solve for small business owners who want to position themselves as an expert and stand out among their competition.
Mm, right. Like you say, being in front of your ideal audience.
Yeah,
And networking groups are nice, but how many ideal clients are really there?
right.
So part of the speaking is developing what you're speaking about, and then the other part is finding those audiences. But let's look at the speaking part of it. Now, many people say, "I'm a speaker, I'm fine, I speak all the time," and I like to ask, "So, are you getting the results that you want?" "Oh, no." "Well, then I think you need some help with your speaking."
I have a friend who is he's in the financial world, I'll say that, but his shtick is, freedom, tax freedom, right? And it's on it. So his message is so messed up. Christine, I got to tell you about this because he wants to be a speaker. But when you see him out in public, if there's a parade, if there's something else, he is dressed as Uncle Sam. But guess what? On his business card, it's a picture of him dressed as Uncle Sam and with a red circle around it and a line through it. So it's like Uncle Sam is bad. The government is bad because they want to take your money, keep your hands out of my money. And yet when he goes out, he portrays himself as Uncle Sam. I I have said this to him. He loves the costume. He's a big tall guy. He looks adorable in the costume. But the message that he's sending is that you just told me Uncle Sam is bad. So we have to, speaking is also about the messaging you're putting out there, right?
Mhm.
It has to coordinate. The message he's putting out there is you just told me Uncle Sam is bad and your business is about tax freedom. And here you are as Uncle Sam. So I associate you with being not in my best interest.
Yeah, yeah, so when we're talking speaking, it starts even way before you're in front of a group of people.
Exactly. And when you're in front of a group of people, you've got to have the right message, right? If you don't have the right message to even for them to even ask you to tell me more about what you do, and they're not connecting with you at a networking event,
Mhm,
there's a disconnect there,
mhm,
right? So
right.
if you start speaking with a message that's not clear, it's like compromised all the way around.
Yeah, yeah, so you go from that messaging beforehand
Mhm.
to your actual talk, and I can't tell you how many times another one of these that one of these okay, soapbox moment here, sorry,
Yeah.
is after somebody makes a presentation and people are commenting on social media how wonderful. Well, she gave such an informative talk. Mm, did you not take anything in particular away from it? So I don't know if that's on the speaker didn't impress enough on the audience or the audience just wasn't good enough to actually take something. But that whole I see it all too often of that was a very informative talk. What does that mean?
It means nothing. It means nothing, and it's you're not doing that speaker any good either by giving a testimonial like that,
Mhm.
because you might as well have said that person wasn't even there. "Oh, they showed up." Okay, what does that mean? They showed up. They gave an informative talk. If you walked away with just thinking it was informative and you didn't take away at least one thing that you could go back and implement into your business, it was either not a good talk or you're just lazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's one of my pet peeves of
Yeah.
comments from people.
Or they
Y
just hit the like sign. Why did you like it? Right?
yeah,
I get
yeah,
it, right? I'm lazy too. I don't want to type all of that stuff out, but if I hear a really good speaker, wow, I'm all about promoting that. And that's how or a really good business owner. That's how we should be with everyone. We should be promoting our colleagues that are doing a really good job.
mhm.
You do a really good job out there,
Oh,
right?
thank you.
What you do is I don't think people I don't think people understand enough about what you do
Mhm.
to know how brilliant you really are.
Oh, thank you, Jean.
Well,
You.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart
Well,
because
and that's where my messaging comes in, but it's taken me a while to get where I am, so things are clearing up for me, so
okay, it took me 4 years, Christine, to get my message, right? To
so
fine tune it. But if I waited till I had that done, I would have never hit 6 figures. I would have
Mhm.
never hit 2 multiple six figures, right? So you don't wait because your message isn't clear. You
Mhm.
just start speaking and you eventually clear up the message as you go.
Right, I was you tweak along the way,
Yeah.
from your 30-second commercial to a 15-minute presentation, and you keep working on these things, and that's I mean,
Right.
even just a 30-second commercial, when people say, "So, give me your 30-second," it's like, "Well, what day of the week is it?" You know, because I keep tweaking it, I keep changing it, and it all depends too on the audience, what event are
Absolutely.
you at? Um, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Are they
some
looking at
people
you?
some people will just create it and, "Okay, that's what it is, I'm good," that's all it but no, I
Well, they're you don't if depending on the audience you're in front of, you could be there, Christine, as a um, productivity specialist one
Mhm,
day,
mhm,
right? A business coach another
mhm,
day. And you've got so many facets of your business that can help people and really skyrocket their revenue. It's crazy that they're not paying attention to but the message has to be clear, right?
right.
About what that particular, why you're there. You're right.
Mhm,
Why you're
mhm.
there. It has to
Yeah,
be
so
clear.
okay, so we talked about the clarity of the messaging and when you're actually giving your talk, are people taking some nugget away from it that's
Mhm.
very valuable, and are you, getting some people to want to speak to you afterwards? So those are some key takeaways from your
Absolutely.
actual talk. Now, the other piece of this is like, yes, you can have a great talk, but then finding the right audience. That's not an easy one, but there's so many different I forget a couple years ago, I saw a number post of how many speaking opportunities exist every day or something. It
Mhm.
was thousands upon thousands. And now that it's in person and virtual, it's just phenomenal. But the finding of the right ones. Have you been able to find anything for yourself that you say, "Wow, that's a great group. I need to find more of them." Um,
Yeah, I have, and I know chambers don't normally bring in speakers unless they're part of the chamber, but I have actually gotten into a group of chambers in the Chicagoland area where I've spoken to, I don't know, 15 or 20 chambers, because my ideal client is their ideal client, right? Small
mm,
business owners who are looking to turn around their business and increase their revenue fast. While the chamber doesn't really help them do that, they do bring in speakers that will help them do that. And so I'm brought in to talk to them about different techniques and strategies they can implement in their business so that they can turn around their business fast.
mm. And I think besides you staying local to the Chicagoland area,
Mhm.
you've also been known in the past to hop on a plane to
I
speak,
have.
haven't you?
I listen, if there's a group of my ideal client is women over 50, 55, right?
Mhm.
That is my ideal group. If there's a group of those women who are huddled together somewhere and they're like, "Hey, would you?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm on a plane." Right? Yes, I will come and speak to your group. But I always end up walking away with at least one client from it,
Mm,
right? And that's really what the difference between a networking event is and a speaking engagement
mm,
is when you're speaking, you can walk away at the end of the day with a client or two or three. I like to look at it as I think the most I've ever walked away from was 14 from a speaking event, 14
mhm.
clients, pay and paid clients, right? And it was from a 3-day event that I held, right? That I, at the end of that event, I had spoken for 3 full days, and I walked away with 14 paid clients.
Amazing, amazing. But yeah, so I want the audience to understand if you truly, truly want to expand your reach and get more clients, you really have to be willing to do whatever it takes, and that is even hopping on a plane
Yep.
for the right circumstance.
Yeah.
It's not just anything. You have to, like you say, it's your audience, so yes, you're gonna be there, absolutely.
Well,
Mm,
I was going to be in Atlanta, in 20 I think it was 2018 or 2019, and for an event, for a 3-day event that I was not speaking at. No,
Mhm.
I did speak. I did speak at that event. So, but I came in early, and I have a one-day event that I do. It's like my signature event, and I just rounded up enough people that I knew in Atlanta. We had a one-day event, and I walked away with 3 clients that day, just before I ever hit the speaking spot at the other place. But the place I did go to speak, where I had 3 minutes on stage to speak, Christine, I
Mhm.
walked away with 156 leads, right? Leads, people that I can call
Yeah.
when I get home to turn into clients. That's really the reason we speak, is for the leads, not
Mhm.
you will turn some of them into clients, but you've got to have the leads.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that distinction. I want the audience to understand this is lead generation at the core.
Yeah.
It's not saying, "Oh, all of these opportunities are, oh, yes, here's my credit card." No, it's giving you the leads that then you follow up on,
Right.
and then they become clients. So it's a starting point, but it's a shorter starting point than many other methods that people are using to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, then there's a lot of different ways to do that. So you can speak for leads, which is what that 3 minutes was. I was speaking for leads, but then when I do my own one-day event, I'm
Mhm,
speaking for clients. At the end of the day, I'm going to make an offer, right? And if it's the right offer for the right person who's in the room at the right
mhm.
time, and the moon aligns, right? They'll become a client because they understand I am the solution to the problem that they have.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways why you should be speaking out there, but the main thing is not enough small business owners are out there speaking for they're out there speaking for impact. They're not out there speaking for income.
Mm, big distinction.
Big
Yeah.
distinction.
Yes. Yes. And the only way you can continue to speak for impact is if you do it for income. Be-
Exactly.
Because without that,
That's it. That is like when the planets all align, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Jean, we could go on about this, but we don't want to give everything away because you are, as you mentioned, a one day event. You have something coming up in your area, and what is that?
I have coming up, it's called Influence Speaker Training for Business Owners, and it is a one-day event, right? It's a 9 to 5er, but at the end of the day, I am going to talk to them about their messaging. I have a list here, Christine, so I want to share my list. We're going to be talking about messaging, making sure that their message, that their ideal clients can hear it. We're going to talk about, I'm going to help them develop stories for their talk, because people learn so much more from stories than they do from listening to somebody yammer on with facts and figures and numbers and things like that. They're going to outline their signature talk. Most business owners don't have a signature talk. So we're going to outline that. I'm going to show them 15 ways to get paid speaking. They're going to create a lead generator, right? So that they have something to give in case they don't have an offer or something. But when they're out there speaking to leads, how to create a lead generator that will bring them leads after they've spoken. I'm going to show them where to find speaking gigs, and I'm going to tell them what they need to say to get booked for a speaking gig.
Whew, geez,
It's a
that's
full day, full day.
and what else is included in the
Oh,
ticket price of
okay.
97? What else are you including with that?
I'm including lunch, but you know what? The one thing this hotel that I use is known, and I think you had it when you were here with us last fall. Uh, they have a caramel cake that is to die for, right?
Yes.
And that's always got to be the dessert at my event. They have got to have the caramel cake.
Well, come on, audience. If you're in the Chicago area or even 3 hours away, you gotta be there. And that's the thing too, you gotta travel.
Yeah,
A lot of times people are saying, "Oh, geez, that's 3 hours away. I can't go." No, you have to be there.
right.
But if you can't be there, you also are going to be doing it online in a few weeks after that, correct?
Yeah, June 2nd, I will have a virtual event. So if anybody's interested, if they're interested in the virtual, I would say try to get your butt there in person. You're gonna always get more out of it. Here's what you miss it. Let me tell you what you have in person that you don't have virtually, okay? When you're creating your messaging and we're going around the room and I'm tweaking those to make sure that your ideal clients can hear them, because it's not what you say, it's what your ideal client hears. When I'm tweaking those, do you know how much business gets passed at the next break? They're like, I did not know you did that. Oh my God, tell me more. I need your services. It has happened at 100% of my business. You do not get that in a virtual meeting.
Mhm.
So if you're looking for clients, show up, get your butt to some place that's giving a lot of value and showing. It doesn't matter what conference it is, right? If there's an in-person option, get there in person rather than virtually.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness, Jean, if I was closer, and not a day and a half away driving,
yeah, I
or
know
if I could get there quicker,
you are.
yes, I would be there. It's so valuable.
Maybe we need to set up one of these in your area, and I'll
Mm,
come in and do a one-day event in your area. I don't mind getting on a plane.
there you go. We
Just
will
saying,
have to discuss it.
that would be
Yes.
great.
Yeah. Well, Jean, this has been fantastic. I've so appreciated having you today on Make It Click. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you for having me.